What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be finishing up the mounts for my AC condenser here. I'm going to be running AC on this K-swap car. I'm going to be using a full-size radiator. I'm not going to use this radiator here. I have a full-size hybrid racing radiator, and I have this AC condenser. So I already have two mounts that I built last time. Luckily, this condenser has a bunch of provisions to mount to, and I just built some simple L brackets out of aluminum. I cut it out of a sheet of aluminum, bent it with a simple vise bender, and then I used some riv nuts so it's very easy to mount, so I didn't have to use like a bolt through or weld or anything like that. I also have one more bracket down here I'm going to finish up today, and then we're going to be mounting this pusher fan. This is going to mount right on here like this. So I'm going to have my puller fan right here. I'm going to have my pusher fan here. This is going to be connected to the stock AC wiring on the car, so when you turn the AC on, it will turn this fan on and push air through. So this should be a serious AC system on this car. Now for AC lines, I was going to run the DC5 Creations AC tuck kit, and that's where this condenser is actually from, and that's where all my fittings are from on the compressor and on the firewall. I do have an AC compressor on the car out of a RSX, so it's a K20 AC compressor, and it bolts up no problem to the K24 engine, so no issues there. So back to the lines. I was going to run the DC5 Creations kit. Unfortunately, the kit that I have does not work with a full-size radiator, which is what I want to run. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to do custom lines. So stay tuned for a future video where I'm going to be doing all custom AC lines, and I'll make sure to list the full parts list. The other piece to the puzzle is this filter dryer. So I'm going to mount this inside the inner fender. Stay tuned for some future videos, and for today, let's get this stuff mounted up. Like I said earlier, the top brackets are already done. They turned out really nice, really happy with those. It's very sturdy, but as you can see, there's a little bit of wiggling around. So we're going to just put one more. I bent this bracket out of the same sheet of aluminum as before. So we're going to use a riv nut tool in order to give us some threads to bolt down to on the rad support. First, we're going to drill a hole through that will allow the bolt to pass through. Then we'll take the condenser off and drill a bigger hole for the riv nut, and then we'll be able to put the riv nut in there and bolt our bracket down. So let's get to it. Okay, so now it's time to install a riv nut. So this is a riv nut. You can get these off Amazon. Then you can get this riv nut tool, and you just have to make sure that the riv nuts that you buy work with the threads on your tool. And these are just fittings. They're easily changeable, so you just have to make sure you have the right riv nut fitting for your riv nut. This is just a 10 millimeter. So we're just going to stick this in. Make sure this is threaded all the way down. So we should be able to screw our bolt right in here. Good to go. Now we can mount our condenser back up. Before we mount our condenser, we're going to figure out what to do with this fan and how to mount that. This ball fan actually has these little mounting tabs on it. So I'll be able to drill a hole right through here for the top mount. And then for the bottom mount, that actually lines up with one of the holes just fine. So we'll be able to use that. The only thing is I would like to space it out a little bit. I'm gonna see if I have like some little washers or something so it sits a little bit off the fins of the condenser, just so if it shifts around a little bit, it won't damage any of the fins. So I want to find some little spacers or washers for that, drill a hole, and we should be able to bolt this down rather. The same little screws that I used up here for the brackets, these are just temporary, but for some reason we have like a ton of them, so I'm just gonna keep using them. And I'm gonna put an extra bolt on there as like a spacer to space out the fan a little bit from the condenser. So let's drill some holes and see how it all turns out. Okay, so this turned out pretty well. I'm super happy with the little gap there. So as you can see, it won't be shifting around. If it shifts a little bit, it won't damage the fins or anything like that. Last, I'm going to solder on the factory connector. I'm gonna cut it off my old AC condenser fan from the D16. Luckily, I still have it laying upstairs in the garage. I'll solder that on, and then our whole system will just be plug and play. Okay, so we got the stock fan connector. We're gonna adapt it to our new fan. So we just have plug and play. We'll go around right. I don't want it to be too long, but we'll make it longer. You can always make it shorter. Okay, there we go. Definitely getting better at soldering. Instead of a giant like glob, I was actually able to get the solder to kind of flow out and cover the entire joint. So I got some heat shrink down here. I'm gonna cover that up. Then I'm gonna heat shrink down here just because this needs to clip into here and I feel like it won't clip in right with this sheathing I have. And then down here I got some heat shrink just so the loom looks good when it's all tidied up. So let's heat shrink it all up and we'll have a pretty nice little harness here. So here's the final harness. It actually turned out really nice looking. Unfortunately, this just is too bulky to slide in here, but maybe I'll just zip tie this on there. So I'm really happy with this whole assembly. I'm gonna go bolt this up. And I think the last thing we'll do today is drill a hole and put a riv nut in for the filter dryer location that we're mounting on the inner fender. So there we go, and you guys just saw how easy it is to bolt this thing up with the riv nuts in there. And all our mounts look great. This thing is very even. It's very parallel. The wiring turned out great. We'll be able to connect that. We're gonna run the wires tucked up here behind the fender. So this pusher fan, as you can see, it's pretty well offset. So the fans are pretty offset, so they'll be pushing air through this way. and this fan will pull air through this way. So we're gonna have a really nice dual fan setup. Okay, filter dryer mounted up, and I don't know why when I had my camera on the tripod it looked like it was mounted completely crooked, but it's pretty straight up and down from this angle. I don't know what over here, maybe the tripod was crooked, but as you can see it's actually mounted pretty nice. Only one hole here. It's pretty sturdy though, to be honest. I feel like once the yeah, it's actually really sturdy, and this still needs to be clamped down. So yeah, this line we'll run back. We'll run, maybe we'll have like a 90 that bends out. It will come up through here, run through here, and out into the firewall. Then we'll have another line that comes out of the firewall, the bigger line. That will also run through here. Then it will run down and under here and connect, where is it? To the compressor right there. Then we'll have a line, maybe we'll do like a 180 fitting. We'll run it out, around, and right in there to the condenser. And then probably one of the trickiest lines is gonna be this one, because we have to get from here to there, which looks easy, but remember we're running a full-size radiator. So all of this is gonna be pretty much blocked off here. So we're probably gonna have to run the line. We're probably gonna have to get a straight fitting, come out, and then try to bend the line and drill a hole through here. And then we'll come out over here and kind of go over and have like a 90-degree fitting here. So yeah, I think it's definitely possible to do this custom AC system. I think there's a crimping tool available on Amazon, so I'm gonna try that out. I'm looking into what fitting sizes I need. So I'm gonna try to figure out all of that, get some hose ordered up, and then start do some test fitting and start crimping some lines. So wish me luck, guys. I'm gonna make sure I record and document everything in case anyone else wants to do something similar. So I'll see you guys in the next video.